Hello, hi, folks. Welcome. Happy Sunday. In hopes that you squeezed more out of your day than the day squeezed out of you. Welcome. It's little guy kind of a day today, you know. If you know, you know. It's little guy kind of a day, you know. So if you know, you know. And if you don't, you just found out. T-Money was crack-a-lackin'. Hey, I got a great little story for you tonight. I haven't told this story in a while. I don't think I've told this story in a while. So we have this saying in Farsi that says kaar or neest, which means kaar means well in this case means work or job. Or means like humiliating enough for you to for you not to do it. Like this is so degrading that you would not do it. So basically what this phrase would refer to is that, listen, if you got to do whatever you got to do, you got to do. No job is degrading enough for you to pass, you know. Oh, I know, man. I'm gonna send you so much prayers, bro. Oh, that does, you know, that hits home for me. Yeah, T-Money, we're gonna send you some prayers, bro. And yeah, I know that's hard. So much love, much prayers. I know that's got to be tough, man. So let me know what happens tomorrow when you go to the vet. You know. So yeah, there's no job that is really degrading enough for you to say, you know what, I'm gonna pass. I really can't do that. If you got to do what you got to do to feed your family, you got to live, or whatever. If something is humbling enough, it's gonna make you humble enough to do it. And if you got to do it, you got to do it, right? I know that feeling. Actually. Some pictures of little guys showed up today, so I know that feeling. So this is a story about Ulysses S. Grant. He is this promising young military officer. He serves honorably in the Mexican-American War, but something happens. Something goes wrong, and then he ends up working for his dad, selling firewood by the side of the road. Talk about humbling, right? And one of his old friends from West Point comes by one day and he says, "Good God, Grant, what are you doing?" And Ulysses S. Grant, I love it, looks at his friend and says, "I'm solving the problem of poverty." Meaning that Grant doesn't care that he's doing a so-called menial job or that's a humiliating occupation. He doesn't mind that. All he cares about is that he's providing for his family, and he's doing a good job. He knows that it doesn't say, hey, are you ready for this? He knows that it doesn't say anything about him as a person. And it's kind of crazy to think that just in a few years after this, Grant would be the head of an enormous army. And a few years after that, this guy right here happens to be the president of the United States. Right? And I love this sentence. Are you ready for this? To accept it without arrogance and to let it go with indifference. Did you catch that? Oh my goodness. To accept it without arrogance, and to let it go with indifference. Like you can't be connected to that. oh my God, so good. You accept it without arrogance and you let it go with indifference. You don't let the low position change who you are, and at the same time, you don't let the high position change who you are. None of it goes to your head. You know, none of it says anything about you as a person. And that's what really all that matters, right? Because sometimes, you know, I was, when I came across this, I've been thinking a lot in this past couple of weeks since I got laid off, whatever you call it. Anyway, I've been thinking a lot, right? I've been thinking a lot about, I'm praying so much and asking for guidance and clarity, right? I've been asking for that all this week. Hey Tim, how are you? Good to see you, brother. So, and it's been crazy, but so I was thinking about this, and it's amazing, right? Sometimes we don't do what we kind of know we should be doing, just because we're afraid, or I don't know, maybe if it's fear or not, but we're afraid of what other people would say and think about us, right? So many times you kind of know in the heart of hearts, your heart of hearts, that, hey, I got to be doing this thing, right? But what would my spouse think? Or what would my spouse say? Or what would my parents say? Or what would my friends say? Or what would they think about? This is like something that I believe it goes on in your subconscious, right? And that's the reason why sometimes we don't go with that gut feeling, with what's in our heart. Intimidation. Are we intimidated by others, or are we more concerned by the opinion of others? I don't know if we're intimidated, right? Because intimidation would mean that we're just like, we feel, I don't know, somebody's superior than us, right? I feel like that's what that would mean. So I don't know if I would go with intimidation, but it's like, oh man, it's acceptance, right? It's more like acceptance. What if they don't accept me, right? Like couple of my friends completely against what I do, right? Completely shoot it down all the time, but that's okay, right? So are we doing that because of this? Because we're like, oh, we can't say that's what I'm doing. Because if I'm setting firewood by the road and my friend sees me and says, good God, Grant, what are you doing? What if my friend sees me doing this whole network marketing thing? What if my friend sees me do this whole sharing of my products and my services? What if they say like, good God, Sean, what are you doing? Right? Isn't that what it is? Love, hate, comments, team money. Right? You feel me? It's like, it's that acceptance, right? It's like, what if they say, hey, good God, Sean, what are you doing? Are you doing that thing? One of those things. By the way, that's so like flip-flown, old school, like that doesn't even work kind of thing anymore. If you're really in that mindset, I'm really sorry. Like seriously, this 2022, people are going to the moon, like literally. So it's like, really, you think about that, right? You're like, what if they say that? What if, right? So a lot of times, you know, we give into that more, going with what is supposed to be serving us, right? Do you think about that? This past couple weeks, my lives have been a little bit deep, and you feel intimidated. Here we go. Maybe you're intimidated by their opinions. You know what I mean? Maybe that. Yeah, maybe. I like that one. You know, maybe you're intimidated by their opinions, or what would they say? You know, that kind of a thing. But hey, sometimes, you know what? Sometimes you gotta sell firewood by the road, because that's gotta be your maybe stepping stone, your next step before you get to be what? In charge of a huge army, and then before you become the president. Can you imagine that? You sold firewood by the road, and then president. You feel me? I mean, that's a big gap in between the two of them. The point is, if you don't care, if you don't mind the humiliating job in the beginning, that whole selling that firewood by the road, if you don't mind that, if you treat that like what? I'm solving the problem of poverty. Are you kidding me right now? I'm solving the problem of poverty. Is that what you would say if you were selling firewood on the side of the road? I know that's not what I would say. Like, it wouldn't even come in my head. Like, what? I'm solving the problem of poverty? I don't think that would even like cross my mind. You know what I mean? It wouldn't even come to my mind. But when you treat that occupation, that job as that, imagine how you treat something like, oh, I don't know, being in charge of an enormous army. I think you take that pretty seriously, right? Because why? Because it didn't matter. From the beginning, you took things seriously. I love that concept. I thought this was powerful, right? I hope you find this powerful too. I hope it's maybe opening up some channels in your eyes and ears and mind. You know, those channels are opening up. I think I might start selling. Oh my God. Team Money couldn't hold back. I'm gonna have to probably delete that comment. But isn't that interesting though? Because if you're thinking of, okay, if that occupation, I'm solving the problem of poverty, of that, you know, it's interesting. We had another story like this before, but I think it's really important because you can have somebody else do the same thing and give you a completely different answer. Like I said, I wouldn't even come up with that because that wouldn't even come to my head, right? But somebody like that, with that kind of a mindset, imagine the steps they've taken to get to where they went, right? And sometimes, like I said, we miss all that. Like, we miss all of that. Like, I know I have missed all that. I haven't thought about, oh, I'm solving the problem of poverty. I've given it that basic understanding of what it is. Oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. No emotional attachment to it. That would probably help. That, you know what, you might be right. I may keep that comment after all. They're very expensive. That's very true. That's very true. I think it's like $400,000 to average cost for a baby to reach 18. Well, nowadays it's a lot more the cost of everything. But yeah, so sometimes, hey, you got to go with your gut feeling. You got to go with what serves you, what delivers your purpose, fulfills that, right, feeling, if you would, that emotion. And sometimes it's selling fire. Now I can't get Team Money out of my head. Selling firewood at the side of the road. It may be that humbling to start with, right? And then who knows? Who knows? Hopefully you got some love, some inspiration, some value from this, enough to share the love, do what you got to do. I'd love to hear your takeaways, your comebacks, your hey, if you got a story to tell, drop it in the comments below. Let this feed grow. Say hi to the little guy. Pray for T Money's fur baby for tomorrow, because he's taking to the vet, and man, so we pray for you, man. And so drop your takeaways, your feedback below. I appreciate that. And remember, until tomorrow when we do it all over again, much love.